is super short and sweet. He says, to the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country.
Bad start. Sucking off the feds up top is crazy. That's wild, dude.
You let him have that.
Yeah.
You let him have that. Here's the CEO murder suspect arriving for the extradition hearing, and he had some statements that he made.
Oh, wow.
Kaya, place.
And completely out of touch.
Good girl.
And it's insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Oh, yeah, he's going to have some fire stuff on the stand.
All right, so
He's
we just
gonna
heard him
demand
yell
to
that about it,
testify.
sort of something being unjust. This is an insult.
So what is the, there's a much better angle of this. Do we know what he said? This is completely unjust and an insult to the intelligence of American people.
Oh, nice.
The media is completely out of touch, and it is an insult to the intelligence of the American people and lived experience. Oh my God, he's doing.
He's going lived experience with it?
Oh my God, dude. He went.
Respect, dude.
Down.
Oh my God. And it's completely out of touch. And it's insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
Wait.
Oh my God. And it's completely out of touch.
Oh, he doesn't say the media, but he said this is completely unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people. That's what he was saying.
Interesting.
I think his age is very important.
How old is
yeah, he's 26 when your insurance coverage over
Oh,
parents'
fuck.
insurance goes away, and I feel like that might be a reason. This is completely unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and their lived experience. That's what he said. He might also say out of touch instead of unjust. I can't tell, but I don't think he fucked up. For people saying that he missed his opportunity to hit the one line, you're wrong.
Nah. Yeah, the fact he squeezed that out of nothing. You guys are don't be hard on him. That is okay. Truly, this is what boomers, like Republican boomers, fear is that bisexuals will start killing them.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Sexy bisexuals that say lived experience will start killing them.
So far, I think like this is played out in a way that is like truly terrifying if you're a healthcare CEO.
Yes.
Because like the guy being white, and like being the exact profile of like upper middle class, the wealthy, white kid, upstart, valedictorian in high school, attractive, went to an Ivy League school, has a potential point of radicalization that is like understandable for many Americans.
Yeah, well, I mean, the response in and of itself, it's like everyone, like no one heard this and was sad. Everyone was either like nice or like, hell yeah, I guess I feel bad for his family. Like that's no one was like, what a tragedy. You know what I mean? Like maybe like the richest, like other CEOs, but everyone across whatever your beliefs are thinks this is cool on some level.
Yeah, no, it's like what was shocking to me about the reception is that you had the Barbers and the Debras on Facebook talking like hammer and sickle accounts on Twitter.
Yeah, for real.
Where they were like, "Oh no, we must cleanse the streets of the parasitic forces of capital."
Yeah,
like
yes.
Like what the you're
and then if you take it,
you're a CPA.
And they were just saying that plainly, but then if you take it one step back, all the jokes were pro. Like that's where you can really tell no one had a problem joking about it. No one was like this. Like even people that were like this is bad, they'd laugh about it. It just happened. It is kind of crazy. It's almost like the American healthcare system has made people ready for violence. It's almost like the way they've just been killing people silently forever has made people okay with some of their own deaths.
Yeah, it is wild that there's so much like festering resentment.
Yeah.
That has gone unaddressed for so long that this was like a pressure valve releasing for many Americans, especially because like the reality is Americans broadly are kind of stupid. Okay, myself included. All right,
definitely,
we're dumb. Sure. Yeah, we're dumb as fuck. While we are desensitized to violence in general, we are very draconian in terms of like crime. It's like, oh, you stole a Snickers bar, kill that person. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's the attitude people have normally, where they're like, oh, a black homeless homeless person was like experiencing a mental health episode in a subway station. It's awesome that he was executed. You know what I mean?
That is actually a good point. Where these motherfuckers are fucked up is that they have primed a lot of the people that usually are like sucking the ruling class's cock. They've primed them to think killing looters, killing people that are like, you know, fucking up a CVS after somebody gets killed by the cops. Like, because it's so, like, you know, all that, who's that little piggly motherfucker that killed that child molester or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, people, Kyle, what the fuck was his name?
Kyle Rittenhouse?
Yeah. Like, so many of those motherfuckers celebrate the deaths of other people. That
vigilante,
now that it's
vigilante
flipped on
justice.
them,
Vigilante justice is almost always celebrated. The piggly motherfucker.
It's a little upturned nose.
He does.
You know what I mean?
Does look like a porky little pig. He does look like a porky little pig.
And I know I'm fatter than him, but he looks more piggish than me.
Yeah, 100%.
I look like more of a war, like a war hog.
So
with armor on it.
So because they're so, because Americans are so like desensitized to violence in general, and like the fact that it happens like to innocent people as well, that is also oftentimes overlooked. Like there's a school shooting that happens like every goddamn week.
You're so right. That's the flip side of these motherfuckers not doing anything about gun control. It's like, okay, well, now that it's you, now that it's CEOs of healthcare companies, no one gives a fuck either.
Yeah, and so like
that's a great point. I didn't even think of that.
This is what I said in the aftermath of like the first Trump failed assassination as well, where I was like, you rarely ever see people in positions of power in the crosshairs of gun violence. You always see like kindergartners and shit. You know what I mean? Because most people that like snap for one reason or another.
Wow, this makes me feel even better about not giving a fuck.
Yeah, it's just like most people that snap, they go and like redirect that anger to like random unsuspecting public school students, right?
Yeah.
Like it rarely even happens in like private school in general. It doesn't happen to like the children of the wealthy. It happens to the children of the poor. So like in that environment.
Oh yeah, we should tally up how many kids have died in school shootings, and then it's like, all right, that's how many assassinations of CEOs we get.
Yeah,
we get like thousands of them.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
and then we're even, and then we can stop killing people.
United Healthcare Shooter showing Americans they can shoot billionaires instead of kids. 300,000 likes. So when you have a nation that's like primed, okay, when it's a powder keg, and there's like an arsenal of weapons that you can just like mass purchase at any given random grocery chain, like retail store, and all of a sudden it's open season, and that like you can redirect that unregulated, unrestricted violence against like someone who has caused a lot of harm.
Yeah, someone who's actually hurt people.
Someone who is a figurehead for that harm, because like that's what the CEO is in this situation. He's replaceable. They don't give a shit. I'm sure the board of executives was very saddened by this affair, and immediately we're like, all right, well, how do we fill this position?
Of course.
Who's like, the next guy?
How do we find someone who's more sympathetic so if they kill him, we'll get better PR out of it?
Yeah.
This guy was just some fat white guy. No one cares.
Yeah.
That's when CEOs go identity politics. They're like, it seems like our charts are showing if it was a Latina executive, people would be sad. So let's hire some of them.
And you don't have to pay him as much.
Yeah,
not a white guy. Not a white guy. Latinx.
That's what I guarantee you they did that immediately.
Yeah. So in that entire process, like, of course, I mean, this is technically the propaganda of the deed. Like, this is an action that stands out. It doesn't matter what his like background is. It doesn't matter what his like family business was. Because a lot of people are now doing this thing where they're like, well, his family was in healthcare. Like, they're doing the socialism, but you own a house to a motherfucker who shot a CEO.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a revolutionary anarchist, chatters. You know what I mean? He's not like a card carrying commie. He's just a guy who was over, and he snapped, and he was like, I'm gonna take this, I am going to dish out some of what many Americans have experienced, myself has experienced, back to a person who is a cause for that pain, a figurehead for that pain.
And I hope it just makes people think about, like, how the fuck is healthcare for profit? Like that's the thing that this also restarts is like, why the fuck are people making money off of medicine? Shouldn't this just be a right? Shouldn't we try and figure out how to make it as cost effective as possible to heal as many people as possible? Just the very fact that medicine has CEOs is fucked up. Let alone the fact that they're denying people. And that's why people don't give a fuck. That's why that's also why I was thinking conspiracy theory, because it's like, this feels like, well, if you wanted to assassinate someone, who could you get away with it? Because no one would give a fuck. Like, if this guy had enemies, if any healthcare CEOs have enemies, this narrative gives you some real nice cover
By the way,
on some fucking tinfoil hat shit.
I called this, by the way. I said he's definitely a Redditor because of the Peak Design backpack. And I think they found his Reddit.
Oh, shit. What was he on?
26-year-old suspect's alleged account was surfaced yesterday by a handful of Reddit users who claimed to have recognized Mangione from his posts and comments in the spondylolithiasis. I feel like I've seen this username in my notifications before.
What does
this is crazy.
mean?
I think it's spine pain.
Oh, damn.
Dude, there's a Reddit. This is what Reddit is for. Like, literally just like hyper niche. And
oh, did he have it or did a family? I'm for real not up on it. Other than, like I said, my friends wanting to on IG yesterday.
Yeah, hyper specific spondylolithiasis is a condition where the vertebrae in the spine slips out of place, usually in the lower back. It's a slip disc.
That probably hurts so bad.
It's happened to me. It's awful. Anyway, I feel like I've seen this username in my notifications before. In April this year, Mr. Cactus had shared advice with the community. Keep trying different surgeons. Nobody will operate on my back until I'm at least 40 is nonsense coming from a medical professional who lacks perspective. Tell them you are unable to work. Do your job, they added. We live in a capitalist society. I found that the medical industry responds to these keywords far more urgently than you describing unbearable pain and how it's impacting your quality of life. Plan Z. Fake a foot drop or piss yourself. Damn. This is the nuclear option. But there comes a time when it is just ridiculous that people won't operate on your broken spine. Yeah.
That's wild.
And I did call, when I saw the Peak Design backpack, I was like, oh, this is like an everyday carry guy. Like he definitely got that from active in the r/1bag community where the Peak Design backpack brand from the shooting photos incredibly popular. In April, the account shared a packing list for several months of travel in Asia. And he did. He went and lived in Japan. I think it's time to look at the manifesto.
Let's look at him.
So our boy, Ken Klippenstein, Ken Leakenstein, he done did it again. He done did it again. He leaked that shit. He got it, and he got it before the mainstream press did, okay? Or rather, the mainstream press refused to release it. So let's get started. I've obtained a copy of the suspected killer Luigi Mangione's manifesto, the real one, not the forgery circulating online. Major media outlets are also in possession of the document, but have refused to publish it and not even articulated a reason why. I think we all know why they don't want to release it. My queries to the New York Times, CNN, and ABC to explain their rationale for withholding the manifesto while gladly quoting it from selectively have not been answered. I'll have more to say on this later, on how unhealthy the media's drift away from public discourse is. But for now, here's the manifesto. It's super short and sweet. He says, to the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country.
Bad start. Sucking off the feds up top is crazy. That's wild, dude.
You let him have that.
Yeah.
You let him have that. Unless this is the feds writing it.
Yeah, that's true. We're getting got right here.
Specifically, my case manager.
What you do is awesome.
You deserve you deserve everything nice, and the fact that you're the fact that you suspect your wife of cheating on you is perfectly valid. She does not appreciate your prowess.
You
your
deserve divorce. Right, divorced fathers should have rights too. You can't take to the feds who don't get to see their sons as much as they want to. Okay, so he starts off with the feds. He respects what they do for the country. Interesting.
To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. What the fuck is CAD?
CAD is like that program that you use to, it's like an architecture program. So I guess he looked at the blueprints of shit.
Oh, and a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some strangling notes. Oh, it's a modeling software. Has some strangling notes. And oh my God, look at all my god stem cell nerds in the chat. Dude. This is why I'm saying shit. like low key, Luigi was very like Luigi is exactly like fits the profile of like more than half of my community that could have gone in a very different direction. Like they could have found themselves in the whims of like Andrew Huberman. It doesn't matter because it's like his radicalizing incident is a universal experience almost. But like as far as like what community he belongs to, like there are many people exactly like Luigi in this. In this chat.
I took CAD in middle school or high school. I found a vivid porn DVD in my CAD lab. One of the best days of my life.
The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. Even that seems Fed posting.
Yeah.
Oh, frankly, these parasites simply had it coming.
It's not that explicit, I guess.
Yeah. A reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. It's true. United is the indecipherable largest company in the U.S. by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, and Walmart. This is also true.
That's
is grown and grown. Yeah, its profit margins are 6%, but because they are working with almost $500 billion in revenue, that 6% profit margin actually means pure profit to the tune of $33 billion.
That's nuts.
$33 billion.
That's so fucked up.
And the Jesse Waters had the, or these right-wing Republicans had the audacity to go and talk about, it wasn't Jesse Waters, it was Tim Pool's weirdo guy who was like, the profit margins are really slim on healthcare providers. It's like, they shouldn't exist.
Yeah, there should be no profit, you motherfucker. That's such a simple thing that you don't have to understand. You don't have to know anything about business or politics to understand. That's such a basic human thing. There should be no profit off of people's healthcare.
Yeah.
That's nuts that we don't think that.
So I work in engineering. It has grown and grown, indecipherable. It has grown and grown, but has our life expectancy? No. The reality is these indecipherable have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have space. And frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument.
Dude. He's like, I don't know all the details, but I got it on me.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure it out.
I keep that shit. I keep that piece on me
That's
at
sick.
all times. And
I'm not doing the reading, but I got the blicky on me.
Yeah. I'll let my gun do the talking.
I got it. That's
what he said.
I'll leave the research to the dorks.
Yeah, but he's a dork.
I know.
Even this is like a dorky Redditor way to cover this
but it's
subject
just
matter.
awesome to be like, I haven't done the research, but I know enough to kill a guy.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I feel vindicated in my theories here a little bit, where I said that he does fit the profile of like a Redditor kind of like right lib guy, where he has like profound respect for the institutions. I said something along the lines of like the denied depose, defend casings that he wrote, or the things that he wrote on the bullet casings is a famous book. And the book in and of itself actually is from the perspective of a guy who still thinks for-profit healthcare should exist.
Oh, interesting.
But thinks it's gotten far too out of control.
Wow. I mean,
like here's the appropriate way to deny, but you guys are doing it too much.
Yeah. Even that's insane, to be able to push a guy that thinks that to the point of killing someone is, they're getting way too greedy.
The first couple of things that leap out in Luigi's Manifesto, he cites Elizabeth Rosenthal and presumably her book on American sickness, and Michael Moore in his famous documentary on U.S. healthcare sicko. Luigi's politics seem to be the type that is the most underrepresented in elite politics and economic redistributionist with social conservative beliefs. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's that well defined.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he has some socially conservative tendencies, but I don't even know if like it's all that. But then again, it is, I think, a foolhardy endeavor in general. It is a foolhardy endeavor in general to try to identify a tangible, well-defined ideological lane for any American. Because I think the system is designed, like our political education is designed to basically make sure that you don't fit in any neat little box. And that's why you see a lot of people personally have inherently contradictory positions, like the QAnon people who are anti-vaxxers and anti-big pharma, who then like will go and vote for the Republican Party because they love the deregulation that the Republican Party is offering, where they think that that's going to solve it. And it's like they hate big business on its face, but then simultaneously love the people that are helping big business.
But doesn't that show you, though, that this is how important healthcare is, and how both parties are stupid? I mean, I guess they're not, because they're just bought and paid for by these healthcare companies, but it's such a clear winning strategy. Some guy killed a CEO in cold blood, and people are pumped for it, no matter what the they think, no matter if they're, whatever this guy's saying, like a social conservative guy who wants to redistribute whatever the they are. Definitely people on the left want this, but even the fact that people, you're right, people aren't looking, it's not that deep for a lot of people that might have,
I do not know.
Free market opinions on other stuff.
Yeah.
They are getting impacted by health companies so much that even they're like,
they know who the vectors of pain are. Like they know who the pain dealers are in this situation, regardless of not having like the political acumen or the proper words to communicate that anger and resentment. But his action speaks for itself. Where he said, obviously the problem is more complex, but I do not have the space. Frankly, do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument.
Yes, we thought we made fun
but
of
many
that.
have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal, Moore, decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I am the first to face it with such brutal honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luigi, you ain't wrong, man.